Okay, so this is the equation for electric field intensity due to a charge that is kept along the axial axis. Okay, now let's go forward. Now we will do the electric field intensity that is experienced. Okay, I will drop this. Okay, now we will look at electric field intensity experienced by a point charge kept along equatorial axis. Okay, so what does this mean? Say this is electric dipole here plus Q minus Q. Okay, so equatorial point basically means the point line that is passing through the center. Okay, I will say there is a point P over here, a point A, this is B, this is C. Okay, now this distance is A. Okay, A and A, and at this point we have kept a small point charge Q naught. Okay, and let us assume that this point is at a distance of L. It is at a distance of L from this point O. AO is L. Okay, now what will happen is, due to this first charge plus Q, okay, what will happen is there will be a attractive or repulsive force. There will be a repulsive force. Okay, there will be a repulsive force. This is also plus and this is also plus. Since both are positive, so there will be a repulsive force. So it will try to the field of this charge will try to repel this Q naught. Okay, so it will be somewhat like this. It will be like this. Okay, now why I made it like this? Because I told you the electric field line or forces, whatever you're talking about, they always act along the point line joining the, what is the line joining the two charges? It is this line. Okay, so this force, this electric field line the force due to this electric field will act along this line. Okay, so this will be known as EAB. EAB is the electric field acting on Q naught which is kept at point A due to the charge kept at point B. Okay, now let us look at C. Okay, this was plus charge and this is minus. Okay, so what will this minus Q have effect on this plus Q naught? This will try and attract this charge. This will attract towards itself because this is negative. So the field due to this charge will attract this plus Q naught. So the line will be something like The line will be something like this, the line joining them, and the force will act along this axis. Okay, so this force will be known as, electric field line will be known, the force due to this will be known as EAC. EAC is basically the force acting on A due to the electric field produced by charge kept at point C. Okay, I hope that is clear to you all. So now I will assume this angle is theta. Okay, this angle is theta. Okay, and this angle also will be theta. Okay, I will show you in detail what I am talking about here. I will make a bigger diagram. Let us assume EAB is like this. Okay, EAB and EAC we have shown like this. Okay. Now you already all know how this diagram came out. Okay. Now let us see these two electric fields. This angle is theta and this will be also theta. Okay. This angle will be also theta. Okay. So what I was telling you was that this EAB, will it not have a component along this axis and this axis according to resolution of forces? It will have a component along this axis and this axis. Okay. So here it will be EAB sin theta, and here it will be EAB cos theta. Okay. Now due to this one EAC, there will be a component along this axis, that will be EAC cos theta, and there will be a component along this direction, that will be EAC sin theta. Okay. Now what I am going to do is, see, we will find the value of EAB and EAC first. First I will find the value of EAB and EAC. So EAB will be KQ, EAB will be KQ upon what? It will be KQ upon, what will be this distance? Say this is point O. So distance OB will be under root of L square plus A square. So it will be KQ upon under root of L square plus A square whole square. Okay, and EAC, that will be minus KQ. Minus basically indicates it is in the opposite direction. Okay, it indicates it is in the opposite direction. Okay, that will be also, what is this distance? This is also under root L square plus A square. So this will be also under root of L square plus A square. Okay, negative sign indicates the direction only. Okay, so now you can see here, these two are equal in magnitude. They are equal in magnitude. So what will happen is that this EAB sin theta and EAC sin theta, they are both of same magnitude. Okay, but they are acting in opposite direction. They are acting in opposite direction. So what will happen? They will cancel each other. They will cancel each other. So the net effect will be only due to these two components. Okay, these two will cancel each other because they are of same magnitude. Okay, so I can write now. I will rub this. See, I am only talking about the magnitude. Okay, this symbol indicates magnitudes. Okay, and EAB is equal to EAC magnitude. If the magnitude is same, Okay, and these two are acting in opposite direction. See, AAB and EAC both are same, only multiplied by sin theta, so they are in opposite direction, so they will cancel each other. They will cancel each other. Okay, so the only effective force that is remaining is EAB cos theta and EAB sin theta. Okay, so what will be the net electric field at point O? Magnitude of EAB plus magnitude of EAC. So the magnitude will be same because both have the same magnitude. Okay, we are not talking about the direction, we are talking only about the magnitude. So this will be EAB only the cost component will be taken into consideration here. So EAB is equal to EAC. So I can write here 2 EAB cos theta. You can write here, yeah, without any problem you can write here because these two will be added because both are of same magnitude. Okay, now what is the value of EAB? We already found that one out. So 2 into k cube upon under root of L square plus A square power 3 by 2 into cos theta. Now let us find out the value of cos theta. The theta is here. What is the value of cos theta? Base upon hypotenuse. Base upon hypotenuse. Base is A, hypotenuse is A upon under root of L square plus A square. Okay, so this comes out to be and this one was 3 by 2. Okay, so 3 by 2 into 1 by 2, the power this okay, k cube upon r square. Okay, so this will become square. This was under root and square of under root is the number itself, so it will come at the same thing. So it will be L square plus A square. Okay, or you can write here 2 kq into A upon L square plus A square raised to the power 3 by 2. Okay, I hope that is clear to you all. Okay, now 2 into q into A. What is, I will write it for a simplification. 2 A into q into k upon this one was so what is 2A into q? 2A into q is dipole moment P. It is P. Okay, so and what about these two? In this one you can neglect L square because L is very small. Okay, so I told you in the case of axial also, so if it is 10 raised to the power minus 10, so square of this will be 10 raised to the power minus 20, so we can neglect L. So neglect, I will neglect L square. Okay, so upon simplification this equation comes out to be P into K. Okay, P into, okay, I will not write it here. Okay, so upon simplification this comes out to be P into K upon A square raised to the power 3 by 2. Okay, or you can, what is P? P is dipole moment. K is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. You can write as 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into P upon a square raised to the power 3 by 2 is a cube. Okay, so this is the electric field experienced at point O, a point that is kept at the equatorial axis. Okay, I hope that is clear to you all. So that was the equatorial, and the one we did was before was axial. Axial and equatorial. When we keep a point at equatorial and axial, in case of equatorial it is pk upon L square plus a square raised to the power 3 by 2, and in case of axial it was 2 times the value of this. Okay, so in axial the value is 2 times in comparison to the value in equatorial axis. Okay, so let's go further ahead. So now we are going to do the last topic. It's very simple. Next topic is continuous charge distribution. Okay, so what does it mean by continuous charge distribution? This simple, very simple principle. Okay, what does this principle say is that if along a surface, let's talk about a rod. Okay, if along this surface of this rod there are charges at an equal distance, like every 1 centimeter there is a plus charge, every 1 centimeter. Okay, if the charges are distributed like this, so we assume that the distribution of charge is continuous. What does this mean is that we will assume that the plus charge is at all the points. Okay, that in other words you can say this whole rod is a positive charge. You can say the whole rod is a positive charge. When the charges are distributed at equal intervals, then we can assume that the charge is distributed in the whole body, and we can assume the whole body of that charge. So you will say this rod, instead of showing this plus charge, you can tell this is a positive charge rod. Okay, you don't have to show the single charges all the time. So you can assume this body to be continuously positively charged. The whole body is positively charged. Okay, now there are many types of distribution of charges. First is linear. First is linear charge distribution. Okay, so what is the linear charge distribution? Whenever the charge is distributed at equal intervals along the length, whenever the charge is distributed at equal interval along the length, then we say the charge is linearly distributed. Okay, and the symbol for linear charge distribution is lambda. Okay, so lambda basically tells us that in one meter length, like this whole length is 5 meter. So how much charge is distributed in this unit length? Unit length is 1 meter. Okay, so to find that we use the symbol of lambda. Lambda is linear charge density. Linear charge density. Okay, what does it mean is Q upon L. What does it tell us? That the amount of charge that is distributed in this 1 meter of length. Q is the total charge of the rod and L is the length of the rod. So this will tell us the charge density per meter, per unit length. Okay, so this is the symbol for linear charge density, lambda. Okay, next one is surface Okay, as the name suggests, it's very simple. Surface charge distribution is basically when the charge is equally distributed along the surface area of a body. Surface area of a body, say plus, 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 plus. See, important thing here is that the charges are distributed equally. Okay, equally along this surface area. I will say the surface area as S. I will say the surface area as S. So, what does the surface charge density tell us? That in 1 meter square of area, say this is a 1 meter square of area, how much of charge is just distributed? So, the formula is quite simple. Surface charge density is represented by sigma. It is represented by sigma. Okay, and it is given by the formula Q upon S. Q is the total charge that is distributed along the body, and S is the total surface area. S is the total surface area. It is represented by which unit? Sigma. Okay, and the last one is volumetric charge distribution. Now what does this mean? This means this is a cuboid, okay? If the charge is distributed equally at all points in this cuboid, so to find the charge that is in a 1 meter cube of volume, inside this cuboid, to find the amount of charge that is present, we use the symbol of volumetric charge density, and that is given by rho. So rho is equal to Q upon V. Q is the total charge that is present in this inside this, and V is the total volume of this cuboid. So this will tell you the volumetric charge distribution. Volumetric charge distribution explains us the amount of charge present in 1 meter cube of this volume of this cuboid. Okay, so that was the end of the chapter. In the next class we will see the numericals present at the behind of the exercise. So that is it for today.